welcome back. It's Melanie, or She Shed Scrapper. So today we are doing a 2-page layout using a bunch of mixed media. So first off, what I am doing here is just spraying my white paper there, and I have a stack of white paper that I've previously put gesso on, so I just grabbed that one. So this one does have gesso on it. And then the sprays that I'm using, that first color is called Seafoam. It's a Mr. Huey's color mist. I actually recently picked this up at Tuesday morning at a store that was going out of business. And the date on it is actually 2012. So I got it 40% off. And so I was kind of hesitant, or, weary on if it was going to work or not, but it worked great. And then the darker blue is a Distress Spray Stain by Tim Holtz in the Faded Jeans color. So with this layout, I am going to use that cut file that you see there, and I have it backed already. Most of the papers are from the Amy Tangerine paper pad, the Better Together paper pad. Lots of blue and green papers in there, which I loved because this album will be going into my son's Gatlinburg album. So I went ahead and just backed it ahead of time just because it takes me forever to back. And you guys don't need to watch me do that, I don't feel like. And so one thing with the background, the sprays, one, I'm a little impatient and don't like waiting for things to dry. And two, I did kind of want a muted color, so that's why you saw me with my paper towel, like wiping it off. It helps it dry a lot quicker. And like I said, it kind of mutes it. So then what I did is I have a bunch of different like sea animal stamps. And so I actually piece this one together. They're two separate stamps, the fish and the bubbles, but I thought it was perfect for the cut file. And in the beginning, you can kind of see me place the cut file on the paper and kind of place the stamps kind of around so they would show through the cut file. And then I kind of realized, you know what, there's lots of fish in the sea. And so I felt like even if it got covered up, even so, if you saw some bubbles or saw the tail, it just kind of gave it some dimension. And because I did back the tiny fish in orange, I kind of wanted to incorporate that color into the background as well. So that is the color. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The blue Distress Oxide that I used was Chip Sapphire, and then the orange was the Carved Pumpkin Distress Oxide. So those are the two that I use in the back right there. And so I just kind of spaced out that orange little fish, kind of placed it everywhere, and just kind of honestly, this one, even when I was backing this cut file, I struggled so much. It's held together by like such a thin piece of paper that like it would twist and bend, and I could never really figure out if I had it, the proper way or not. I was really actually kind of worried that it would rip at some point. Luckily, I made it through without it ripping. It did bend in a couple places, but not too bad. And then with the gesso, this sheet here, actually I got it towards the gesso towards the edge quite well, so it didn't really warp, and it's kind of been sitting under some paper pads to help it kind of flatten out. But a lot of times it'll kind of start bending at the edges, and so I cut a 1/2 inch off of each side of the paper to kind of ward that off, that bending. And so I knew that this was going to be a 2-page layout, so I wanted to cut out the middle of this sheet. This is the paper that I'm going to back the mixed media paper with, and so I just wanted to possibly keep that middle part to incorporate in the second page. And then once I back this in place it, I think I just kind of placed the cut file down, and I did try to make sure this was straight, so I did grab my T-square and just made sure that, you know, it was lined up good. Eyeballing it, honestly, was pretty darn good, but just wanted to make sure, especially since it's stripes. So there you can see me kind of struggle again with the cut file. And this one, I had cut it so large, actually, since I cut ½ an inch off each side of the white paper, the cut file actually does kind of carry over onto the striped paper on the back. So just kind of fun. I thought it just kind of gave it a little extra. It didn't just kind of stop at, you know, the edge of the white paper. So I think once I had it down there, because I struggled so much, I think I just used, oh no, I did use the ATG gun. So once I had it placed where I wanted to, I just kind of taped the white paper, just because I had been struggling so much with the cut file. And you can see on that middle fish, there is like a white piece. Honestly, my Cricut over the last month or two has just been acting up. Some days I can get it to cut a whole cut file. Some days it just randomly stops in the middle of a cut file. So it's quite frustrating. And so I just left that little white piece. I probably could have cut it off. But initially I thought maybe I would kind of make it three-dimensional, add a foam sticker underneath, kind of like prop it up a little bit. But the placement of my picture, you'll see it here in just a minute, actually covers it up. So I was quite happy with that. I don't know how many papers I have wasted though with my Cricut. I honestly am to the point I kind of just want to throw it out, but it works some days, so I'm just trying to be patient and get whatever I can out of it. That paper there, I got out of one of my 6x6 pads. I don't remember which paper pad I got that out of, that polka dot. But once I back it with once I use it to back the picture on, you can't actually see the polka dots that well. That teal color doesn't match like 100% to the rest of the fish or whatever, but it was close enough, and so I used that to back the picture because I had it all set out. Before I started the video, I did kind of pick what papers I had planned on using for the layout. So I went through my 6x6 paper pads, because honestly a 6x6 paper pad is perfect to back a cut file with. It's the perfect size, and the images on the paper are usually smaller than on a 12x12 paper. So it just works that so much better, I think. But I think all of the papers, or maybe 2 of the big fish, came from a 12x12 sheet. And I had picked out a bunch of other things that I thought might work color-wise and whatnot, and didn't actually use a bunch of them. I did not end up embellishing this layout really at all. It's so busy that I didn't feel like it needed it. But once I had the layout done, I do add a few more fish, because like I said before, I didn't really place them where you could see them. I just kind of randomly picked a spot. And so I did want a couple more fish in there. And then I had that kind of lighter blue color, and so I wanted to kind of incorporate that too in some of the stamps. And so I have this cracked pistachio color here. It worked pretty well, and I just had a smaller fish stamp, so I just put a couple of those around there, and that I think finishes off the layout. And if you're new to the oxides or stamps, all I do is I just use a baby wipe to clean them off. Works well, cheap, And yeah, I haven't had any issues with that yet. So that is page 1 of the layout. Here's page 2. So I just grabbed the scraps, and I did cut a little bit of this out too, but as you can see, that stripe down the middle, that white page, I did use one of my border punches, and I don't know, I struggle with the border punches to get everything lined up and make sure that, you know, it's straight and lined up properly. I don't know if there's a trick that I'm missing or what, but it definitely takes me a long time to do a border punch. So that's why I just kind of cut that out of the video too, because yeah, there would just be too much wasted time, I think. So I wanted to use the scraps from the first page, and they're just kind of so busy, so I used that navy to kind of break it up, and just did the stripes down the middle. I don't usually do vertical layouts, but it is something that I am trying to work on, so I wanted to try and do that with this layout, and the pictures that I chose just worked out really great for that. And so once I get this all trimmed down, I probably just glue it down, yep, and then grab and trim the paper, or the pictures, sorry. So, I don't know, I thought the bubbles border punch was just perfect because, you know, I'm doing the aquarium, water, fish, bubbles. I just thought those circles would work kind of perfectly. So that's kind of how I wanted to place my pictures, and I did, before the video started, use my new Big Kick that I got from Tuesday Morning and cut out that word adventure. I found that die cut at Tuesday Morning when I was on vacation too. So I wanted to kind of try that out and see if I could, incorporate that into the layout somehow. And so I went through my alphas, grabbed some navy. I do really like that taller, I think it's a Chamel collection, navy letter, but I thought it was too tall. And so I grabbed this Pink Fresh alpha, and I'm just going to spell out Aquarium. And my title is just going to be Aquarium Adventure. And when I did the layout, I thought the first page you saw me do would be the first page of the layout, but after I had it all completed, just with the title on this page, I think I'm going to have this be the first page of the 2-page layout. I think I decided that. So once I spell all that out, you'll see me. I honestly don't do that many embellishments on this page either. I am going to back my 2 pictures with the same navy that I used to back that kind of chevron paper strip down the middle. And then I just kind of offset the aquarium adventure. I do end up moving it towards the top just a little bit. I kind of move all the pictures up a little bit as well, because that top section was just kind of blank and I wasn't really sure what embellishments I would place there. So then I think I just back the pictures with that navy. This trip has been fun to scrapbook, but it is kind of been time consuming. I mean, I did all of my pictures for my album already, and now it's, you know, getting the both boys' albums completed. Kind of a big task because I took a lot of pictures for that trip. And while I was gone on this most recent trip, I got a reminder that this Gatlinburg trip was 2 years ago. So I am officially 2 years behind in scrapbooking. When quarantine first started, I kind of thought, oh no, I'm going to get caught up. What am I going to do then? But lo and behold, this whole Gatlinburg trip has consume most of my time since quarantine or since COVID started. So yeah, I am not at a loss of pictures quite yet. I am officially 2 years behind, so lots of fun pictures left to scrapbook. I hope I actually never kind of catch up. It just gives me, I don't know, something to look forward to, I guess. And honestly, I kind of go overboard with taking pictures with anything that we do because, hey, this would be perfect for scrapbooking. So I doubt I'll ever really catch up, but we'll see. So the white was just kind of too white, too plain. So I grabbed my fish stencil and Distress Oxides and you blended that out. I'm pretty sure it's that chip sapphire, the same color I used on the first page. And just blended that out in kind of random places. Honestly, this might be my favorite like mixed media look. I just really like using the stencils and blending. I'm really happy with these blending brushes. They are Picket Fence blending brushes. I got those, I don't know, since I've been home, since COVID started. And I think they're like $24, $25. I think I got them at scrapbook.com. But it was like one of the best purchases. Before I was using kind of the foam blenders, I guess you could say. And I felt like you could see the foam circle like imprint still, regardless of how much I blended. So I'm really happy with these Picket Fence brushes. And so when I finished with the blending, I realized that top left, I really did want it to go all the way to the top. It just kind of looked, to me, it just looked unfinished or just needed something else at the top corner. So I struggled with lining up the stencil. So I kind of gave up for a minute, grabbed my stickers, or actually cleaned up, and then I'm going to grab my stickers. I bought some Jolie's stickers. I've used them on, I think it was my aquarium layouts. They just were such a pretty color, and I knew, I mean, I picked these up so long ago. I just knew that they would be perfect for my aquarium layouts. And so I am really happy that I picked them up. I actually found another one on clearance, so I grabbed another one. And I'm proud to say I finished off the whole sticker sheet. It took me a second to figure out how to use those, like the coral and the seaweed, but I did it. And it always feels good to use something up completely. A lot of times I'll have sticker sheets that have like one or two things left on them. So yeah, felt good. I did use my Scotch tacky glue to glue down that adventure. So as you can see, I did move it up just a little bit, but I wanted it kind of offset more so than at the bottom. So I grabbed the seaweed and put it over top of the A in adventure, and then grabbed like that coral. Thought I wanted it at the other side of adventure, but decided that I thought it looked better kind of up with aquarium, kind of framing the whole title there. And so then I had to figure out what I wanted to do in that top right. There's just so much open space. I grabbed all of my like summery, not all of them actually. I have so many summer collections, but I have, I don't know, a folder of kind of like the boys beach theme stuff. So I grabbed those sticker sheets to see if there were any phrases or anything that I wanted, thought would look good at the top right. Didn't really find anything. So I actually grabbed that little fish down at the bottom to complete the bottom. And then in the top, there's this giant octopus perfect colors for the layout. Well, you see me kind of try other things as well, but the octopus is what I end up putting at the top right. It's just so cute and fits so perfect. So that almost finishes the layout. That top left, how the fish don't go to the top, just was really bugging me. So I try again to line them up. And I think I finally figured out how to line them up. So I do round out this layout by blending out those fish all the way to the top. And personally, I just think it looks so much better. So that finishes out this layout. I do add a little bit to the bottom to make that not so white. But that is the rest of the layout, and honestly, I just want to thank everybody for all of your support and subscribers. All your likes and comments help me out as well, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys.